Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.
Xi Jinping has the luxury of ignoring his people's problems, you see. He's an autocrat. He doesn't have to contest an election. Not the case in democracies. Elections are a celebration of the people's will. Leaders campaign for months to win voters over. And sometimes they try too hard. Like former French President Nicolas Sarkozy, he served as president from 2007 to 2012, a single term of 5 years. His re-election bid was like a reality show. Big stadium gigs, massive rallies, trendy TV advertisements. Well, turns out all of that was illegal. France has a spending cap on elections, 22.5 million euros. Accountants warned Sarkozy that he was about to cross this limit. But he couldn't care less. Sarkozy's campaign ended up splurging 42.8 million euros, nearly twice the spending limit. How did no one notice this? Well, Sarkozy hired a PR firm during the 2012 election. They used fake invoices to hide the real cost. What does Sarkozy say? That he never looked at the expenses. He says he was too busy running the country. Well, the courts of France do not agree. They have convicted him, the former president, of illegal campaign financing. Nicolas Sarkozy has been given a 1-year sentence. His only saving grace is that he'll get no jail time. He can serve the sentence under house arrest with an ankle bracelet. But Sarkozy does not plan to. His team is set to file an appeal. Now, for the record, this is not Sarkozy's first tryst with the law. He got his first conviction in March this year. That was in a corruption case. Sarkozy was sentenced to 3 years in prison, 2 of which were suspended. That verdict was a historic one. Sarkozy became the first post-war French president to get a custodial sentence. He got some bad press, but his public profile rebounded quickly. Today, he is publishing a book. More than a book, in fact. He's giving TV interviews, attending chat shows. Sarkozy still remains a darling of the French right. Others were not so lucky, like former German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. In the 1990s, he too was accused of illegal campaign donations. That killed his career. In the year 2000, his party abandoned him. They found a new leader, a certain Angela Merkel. Campaign finances are a sensitive issue in any democracy. There are endless examples of fraud, irregularity, confusion. Every country has different rules. In the United States, for instance, elections are extremely expensive. The 2020 elections total bill was $14 billion. $14 billion. Where does this money come from? Super PACs. It stands for Political Action Committees. PAC, P-A-C. Super PACs can spend unlimited funds on their candidate, and they do not have to disclose their donors. What about here in India? The 2019 election cost around $8.6 billion. There is no cap on donations. Corporates and individuals can donate as much as they want. But there are spending limits. They change from constituency to constituency. The highest cap is around $100,000. But the problem is the lack of oversight. The Election Commission is spread too thin, so candidates end up flouting their limits from time to time. The fact is, democracy and campaign fraud coexist everywhere in the world. The question is, how can it be limited? Some countries have tried out publicly funded elections. Every party gets money from a government pool, no outside donations. Brazil, in fact, has tried out the system. So have some American states like Colorado, Maine, North Carolina, and New Mexico. The advantage of the system is obvious. No outside interference, no scope for lobbying. The downside is this: a big expense for the exchequer. It's the taxpayers' money, after all. Things would be much easier if leaders like Nicolas Sarkozy followed the law. But unfortunately, democracy is not perfection. It is the pursuit of perfection. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.